Well, what if I told you that private airline companies have lucrative contracts with the Department of Defense to take illegal immigrants back and forth to their homes over and over again? You want to go home for a birthday party? No problem. We'll take you home. You'll leave in shackles and we'll bring you back into the United States. The United States government will fly illegal immigrants home and then bring them right back. You are paying for this. You, the American taxpayers, are paying for this. You heard me right. And the woman who's here to break this story wide open is Sonia Labasco, a former United States Air Marshal. And she's here with this unbelievable story. And Sonia, when I heard about this, I said, this can't be true. This is unbelievable. What is exactly happening here?
Well, Clayton, it's true. I mean, the taxpayers are paying billions of dollars to transport illegal immigrants out of our country. I think what's really needs to be highlighted here is these airline companies like GlobalX, that's one of the largest carriers, they started their contract in August of 2021 down in Miami. Now, GlobalX only had 2 aircraft in August of 2021. Today, as it stands, they have 17 aircraft. 17. Now, that's over $1 billion worth of aircraft that they've purchased in the last few years. And this is all because of the government contracts that they are contracting with to export the illegal aliens who are voluntarily removing themselves.
So now you've been speaking with the pilots. Can you talk to me as a United States Air Marshal? What are these pilots telling you? And I mean, obviously they need pilots. They need experienced pilots to be carrying this out. Who are these people? Who are these pilots and what have they told you?
A lot of these pilots are retired, and it's not only pilots, it's also the guards that are contracted, because these individuals, even though they're voluntary removal, they're still in federal custody. That's why they're in shackles. That's why this looks so official, correct? Because even if they voluntarily remove, they come into federal custody. Well, with these private airlines, they also contract with the guards. There's also contracted guards that have to fly on these planes in federal custody. So there's another contract for you on top of us paying to transport them out of the country. We're also paying for the security to babysit them basically while they're flown out of the country. And they're very unhappy. They're flying into all the countries where we have a CBP One mobile app. That's the government system to where someone that wants to enter the country illegally can go to CBP Mobile One app and they can apply for entry into the United States. They also know now that we're flying them in through CBP Mobile One. Now the taxpayers are providing a private charter for them to fly back home. And as you said, they fly back home to see their family. They may have been in the United States for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, and they want to go back home for some type of special gathering, a birthday party, quinceañera, some type of milestone in the family. So they voluntarily remove themselves. They know that they're going to get transported back home. They have to go through federal custody, so there's a little downtime for them at a holding location, but they know they're going to be sent back home, and within a couple of weeks, they're going to re-enter the United States.
I mean, I'd like to go visit South America. Can I just, call up these airlines and say, I'd like to take my family on a little vacation. Will the United States government pay for it? Of course not. But here we are, American taxpayers footing the bill for them to go back and forth to quinceañera parties, birthday parties, whatever else, and they can come right back into the United States. This is, it's shocking. It really shouldn't surprise anyone, though, that these airlines are now able to buy additional aircraft to accommodate these DoD contracts and expand their flights, expand their service, hire former, United States Air Marshals to be on board to facilitate all of this. It's absolutely disgusting. We're looking at some video here. This is from RGV Truth. Posted this about GlobalX, and you see these guys in shackles here. What are we looking at here? They're just moving these guys around in shackles, but they're going right back to their home country.
Correct. That's what you consider federal custody. So whether an ICE DRO went out and took someone off the street and it's going to deport them, or this individual showed up at the ICE facility and said, I just want to turn myself in, I just want to voluntarily remove, they will be in the shackles because that is considered federal custody. So that's what you're seeing. Right there is the individuals that turn themselves in, or maybe a few of those could be somebody that actually was taken off the street, but most of these are voluntary removals. But what's so glaring is in the numbers that the government sends to us, these all look like deportations, correct? They're using these voluntary removals individuals and mixing those into the numbers to make it appear like they're doing this massive deportation job, and they're really not. These people are voluntarily leaving, and then they're coming back.
So these people are voluntarily leaving. They're turning themselves over to federal custody, and the government, the Biden administration, then considers that a deportation number in their phony numbers. They're flying them to wherever,
Their
out of
home country.
America,
They go
their
right
home
back
country.
to a whole plane full of their home country. So everyone you see getting on that plane is going to go to the same country. So they're people that know each other. So they're flying back to their home country. So these planes, let's just say, for example, this may be a plane based going to Nicaragua. Those are all people that came from the same location in the same area. So they're taking them back home.
And then when they want to return from the birthday party or the wedding or the other celebration, what do? They just get on the CB1, the CB1 app and notify them that, hey, I need to be picked up now. I need to be flown back into the United States.
We are providing an in and out service in this country. This is what we're doing. We've got a concierge service that's open for anyone that wants to illegally enter our country through our own CBP One mobile app, right? That's a concierge service. We're saying, hey, the doors are open. Come on and fly in. And then when you're tired of being here, let's put you on Global X or one of these other private chartered flights, which are a minimum of $150,000 just for the flight. That's got to do with the medical personnel that has to be on board, the guards that have to be on board. That's got nothing to do with the fuel cost. How about the salaries of the pilot and the first officer that has to be on board? How about the flight crew? Because there have to be flight attendants on this plane as well, right?
Yeah, you've got to serve them food. You've got to serve them peanuts and give them free drinks.
It's chartered flights. Can you imagine? These are chartered flights, so everything someone would get on a chartered flight, a private chartered flight, they're going to have on these Global X flights. And the other air carriers, Global X is just one. This is happening throughout the United States. Global X has got a big export business out of Alexandria, Louisiana, and Harlingen, Texas. Those are two of the largest areas that Global X flies out of. But this is happening in San Diego. We had a report, I don't know if you saw the report from Luke Slywalker the other day. He did a great job going out to the airport and actually videoing one of the air carriers there that they were doing the same thing, exporting these voluntary removals.
Yeah, we have the video here. So this is another airliner. Some of these are unmarked, but some of them have like World Atlantic Airlines. I mean, these are airlines I've never heard of before. Global X, World Atlantic Airlines. And it sounds like business is booming for them. They're able to add all sorts of buy additional aircraft right now, buy additional Airbuses. These DoD contracts are pretty lucrative, no?
Oh, they're very lucrative, and we're paying for this. We're paying to bring them in. We're paying them to fly them around while they're here in the United States, and then we're also paying for a private charter. When have you ever been on a private charter, Clayton? I've never been on a private charter.
I have never. Hand to the heavens, I've never even flown privately. I've never been on a private charter, ever. And to think, and I know how expensive they are. So the fact that we're paying and facilitating this for back and forth travel is absolutely mind-boggling. And if I were to tell this to a random person, they would laugh at me and say that sounds like fake news. That sounds like some sort of a conspiracy theory. And here we have the video footage and your confirmation as a U.S. Air Marshal that this is exactly happening. What are the governors doing about this? I mean, Louisiana, this is happening under the government's watch. Is the governor of Louisiana just facilitating this and allowing this to happen?
All open source. Clayton, you can Google and find this out. You can go to the government contracting office and see the contract. This is happening right under our nose, and no one is doing anything about it. Think about it. In some of these airport locations, think of the jobs that are created for these contractors. Think of how many guards they need to contract with. Think of the medical staff locally. These are all local individuals that live in these areas that are contracting with Global X on these two particular airports that they fly out of. So this brings jobs into the local economy, regardless if it's destroying our country, right? This is the destruction of our. They seem to be okay with it.
Oh, they're totally fine with it. This is all part of the plan, of course. When you speak to these pilots, you've said that they're unhappy. They're so sick because they've have to fly there, and then they're flying back and forth and back and forth. I mean, what are the pilots saying to you specifically?
Well, when they first took the job, a lot of them are retired and many of them have left. I want to make that clear. Many of them, once they got inside, they said, oh gosh, I can't be part of this. They thought they were working some high speed, things for the Department of Defense. They were going to be contracting with some maybe dignitaries or flying, internationally. They had no idea that they were going to be deportee experts for voluntary removals. So some of their first few flights, they were like, wow, this is kind of sad, I'm having to fly a flight to deport people who were in this country that, had the fear of dying. They claimed asylum. Like, I'm taking them back into a hostile environment, right? Because they're human at the end of the day, the pilots are. But once they got on the flight, everybody's shackled. They have to come on the flight. They see everybody that's in the aircraft. But when they landed, right before they landed, the guards take the shackles off. They take off the, whatever restraint device they have. And everybody on the plane starts clapping. So they're clapping when they're landed because they're home. So they're celebrating that, oh, hey, we made it. We're fine. We're home. Everybody's clapping. So it's a very festive mood. And then a couple of the pilots, they get off to get grab a cup of coffee or get something to eat in the airport. And there's family members waiting there with signs welcoming them home. They're welcoming them home. Hey, welcome back. Glad you're home. So this is not a somber situation is what they thought, right, when they first got into it. Because they're thinking, I'm gonna have to deport someone who could be maybe killed upon being released in the country, right? This person could be put in prison. They're all thinking the bad things that are going to happen. They were not prepared to step off the aircraft and see the celebrations of the welcome homes that they were seeing.
It's deeply disgusting and disturbing, and all part of the plan. Of course, they won't publicly admit to this, and the Biden administration, of course, is hiding right now, and they won't answer questions about this, but this is happening under our noses. I hope we can bring awareness to this. Sonia, the amazing work that you're doing right now to bring awareness to this, I hope everyone will share this story, share it with your local elected officials. If this is happening, particularly in San Diego and in Louisiana, let your local officials know that this is happening, if we can put a stop to this. But these people, this is criminal. These people need to be locked up. Sonia, thank you so much for this unbelievable story. And if there's anything we can do to continue to get the message out, we will. Thank you, Sonia. We appreciate it.